So you're gonna host more. You're gonna interview more open mic hosts.
I'm going to try to do every single one that's worth doing in the entire country and world. That is the idea. Because the fucking hosts, he's one of the best examples to use. People that host open mics, it's a thankless job. They give people, these fucking crazy people and professionals, time to do this. If it wasn't for the host doing this week after week, hour after hour, we would be behind a dumpster telling jokes to each other. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I just want everyone that puts in the time, puts in the effort to give comics their stage time, to get the art form out. They need to be represented. Alden's one of the best examples. All right, well, let's get this thing started, man. So, Hey everybody, Chris Mueller again. I'm here with Scott Wharton. You can find him on Instagram at thisisnotscott. And he is the co-host of the Stony Baloney podcast, which you also do with who?
Gabriel Kerr. Gabe K Comedy on Instagram, at Gabe K Comedy.
Cool. So yeah, Scott's going to be doing the commentary of the Lucky Duck episode with Alden Schaub as the host. And Scott, you've gone to Lucky Duck a few times.
Yeah, quite a bit. Quite a bit, yeah.
And
been Lucky Duck a lot.
Yeah, and I see you there all the time.
Gone over there and got unhinged more than one time. Said some no-no words that I might not have said.
And you hosted.
I've hosted it twice, I think twice, and yeah, I've hosted it twice, and I'm hosting it again coming up. Alden needs to send me, I think it's sometime this month or next month. Alden is so dedicated to the game. He's like the Bill Belichick of open mic hosts. He's the first one in and the last one out, you know what I mean? Dude. When they talk about like legendary athletes. He's more like the Jerry Sandusky of Austin comedy because he keeps asking us all to take showers with him.
Nice, Alden. Thanks again. Cheers. Third time's a charm. I'm here with Alden Schaub. He is the host of the Lucky Duck Open Mic, and it's the longest running open mic since...
Well, I won't say that. It's the longest in duration. There's some that have been running longer, so yeah, I can't say that. But yeah, longest since the pandemic, I guess it's been going.
Yeah, and you go from, 5:30 you're here?
Well, to sign up, you got to be here at 6, so I got to be here at 6.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's for the tag mic, and then, then the mic starts at 8. So I usually leave at 1 or 2.
Yeah, but it's like a full shift for you doing this thing here.
Yeah, it's like a day, sure.
Why'd you pick the Lucky Duck? How'd you end up on the Lucky Duck? How'd you find the spot?
Well, I didn't end up... I actually inherited it from another comedian. So, yeah, Marty was doing this one. This is one of the first ones that he was doing. And so then when he decided he needed to leave town here, I ended up inheriting it. So, yeah. Well, they used to have 3 hosts every night. And one night I just said, hey, I know that people are weird with their schedules and stuff. I'll just host the whole thing. That'll save time, So then I just kind of inherited it.
And yeah, you're doing a great job at it. And some people would say it's a daunting task to sit here for 6 hours a day to do that. But you don't have any problem doing that, do you?
I like it. I mean, but I get to write tags for other comics. I also, I book other shows, so it's nice for me to watch people and see who's coming along,
Yeah, that's got to be good, because you've seen people that were brand new, just coming into town, and now they're, at mother shit.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy, too, to think that some guys, when they first come into town, this might be the first mic that they do here in Austin. I mean, they've been doing it where they came from, maybe. Or maybe this is their first mic ever. And then over the 2 or 3 years, you see them doing stuff, and you're like, that's neat, But this is one of the only mics you could do because it was outside, and it was there were only 2 or 3 that were able to be going. So this was very important. Right as the end of the pandemic was going, everybody wanted to be here. And now there's so many things going on, this has lost its importance,
That's not true. I don't think that it's lost its importance. I think Lucky Duck is more important than ever because everybody's so booked now and polished, and we need places like that to go experiment and go have a night where there's nobody in the crowd, or go have a night where nobody's paying attention, or where only one picnic table is paying attention. It's those nights when it's the toughest is when you fucking get better. It's more relevant than ever, Lucky Duck is. And I think a lot of those, I mean, you showed Francisco earlier. He's at Mothership. He's like a call-in or whatever. He still comes to Lucky Duck every week. And I've seen people like that come to Lucky Duck and go back and go do shows and then come back to Lucky Duck later that night. You know what I mean?
Just to hang
I think Lucky Duck has lost its relevance to the people who are just like fame chasers and just like doing comedy for clout and to look like to their friends that they're doing comedy, right? For the people who don't really understand, the people that get comedy and that want to get better are still going to Lucky Duck.
Absolutely.
That's a fucking...
I've seen Hans Kim roll in there randomly sometimes.
All the
And it's like,
time,
dude,
dude.
that's crazy. And
I really think that open mic, and especially as long as Alden is hosting it, is like a cornerstone of the comedy here. I mean, those people, everyone that he named, everyone that y'all are talking about, will go to Rapolo's, however you pronounce it, the shitty fucking pizza joint on 6th Street next to Mothership. They'll go there and do open mics. So, like, Lucky Duck's so important. You need mic. It's like Anderson Mill. You know what I mean? You need mics like that are tough, that are... And like, there's also really fucking great nights at Lucky Duck where you go there and that patio's jam-packed full of people. 70 to 90% of them are paying attention. Like, you have a good avenue and a good stage for you to practice your fucking jokes.
But still, it is it's always the best mic to fall back on. I mean, it's always here. It's going on until bar close usually.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's called the Lucky Duck by accident, but I do think of it being lucky because sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's good and you're bad, you know, like, who knows? Like, it's just, you got to figure out what's going on that night. So to me, that level of chaoticness is good because as a comedian, we don't know what we're going to walk into as a crowd. So that's this every time.
Doing Lucky Duck really helps you learn, like, how to be directional with your jokes and stuff. Because I'll sit in the back and watch, 20 people go before me, and I'm paying attention to who's paying attention. If this lady's paying attention, and this couple's paying attention, and a couple over here is paying attention, and a couple up here is paying attention, and that's it, I know who to direct my jokes to now. And then when you get into a big setting where it's fucking a packed room and it's 300 people, you're just naturally delivering your jokes like that. And when you're directing your jokes at the audience, like, that shit is more intimate, you know? The audience feels that.
Well, I think the show changes throughout the night, too. There's a group that comes in at 8, and they kind of stay till 10, and then there's kind of a 10 to 11, 12 crowd, and then there's like a midnight to 2 crowd, and the kind of comedy they want is different throughout the night. And so there's like almost 3 shows here. Like,
What's your favorite thing about this mic? Or host? What's your favorite thing about hosting? That's what I should say.
well, I just like hosting. It's, I find it fun. It's like I'm facilitating the fun, but also I'm giving people opportunities to get their time. Obviously, I get paid too, so there's that, But also, like, we got the new featured spots, so like I can pay somebody to come in and do a spot, so that's nice,
I like how you're doing that. So it gets people off the street to be like, oh, I'll go check out Lucky Duck because, there's a headliner coming in too.
And to the comics, if they want, they could watch somebody who's further along and try to learn something from them, and it just adds value to the show. So people also that are here, they'll see a more advanced comedian and they'll be like, oh, I can see where that open mic comedian could get to that. So that's good. It kind of validates the process where it's like, if everybody's like new, then it's like, oh, well, this is just a bad thing. But if some of the people are good and some are bad, you're like, oh, well, these guys are all working on it, which is, I think it adds to the entertainment.
You're delivering with your hands too much. You want to put your hands in your pockets when you're doing comedy.
For real?
Yeah.
I got big hands,
You
so
gotta
every
keep
time
your
I see
hands
that, it
stiff
freaks people
and by
out.
your side. Your hands are way too, you're being way too...
That's that true shit? I was believing you, man.
But yeah, that way they can see, oh, they're doing their work, and that's different than just like, oh, this isn't good or whatever. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not, but like, if people understand that more, oh, we're working on something.
Yeah. And you say up front that this is, what do you say? Uncensored.
I say some mics that are censored, this is not one of those. And also, anybody can come up. The only deal is we're trying to attempt comedy. That's the only requirement.
And I think you also say, you can say anything you want, but you got to be ready to deal with saying.
But he's said that to me multiple times where he's like, hey, you're the one that said it. You're the one that has to live with yourself kind of thing. And I'm like, I'll sleep fine at night. I just don't want you to be mad at me. And he's really good about like understanding that some of us are crazy and unhinged and we're going to say weird, fucked up thoughts sometimes. And it might be disturbing and not funny. And it's like, I never want to be the result of, somebody not coming back to the open mic or being responsible for Alden losing customers or audience members. but he'll always tell you that. So that's because I mean I've hosted open mics and had people that have wanted to say fucked up shit, and it's hard. It's hard to do. It's just, but Alden does a really good job of just understanding like this is what the fuck we do and this is how
So
it's actually more of a because it's not hard to do. It's not hard to do. Lucky Duck allowing Alden to be that person and let us do that is the hero as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've been an open mic host and the venue that you're working with is like, hey, no more rape jokes or dead baby jokes, whatever the fucking thing is.
It doesn't matter to me, I just wanted the time to be available. That's it.
Yeah. And there's been like a few scuffles here. There's been some
We've had people had to get booted, people bring in live armadillos. We've had a car accident. People take their tops off, and I'm just like, okay, that's part of the show now. And that's like a certain level of chaos that I find enjoyable. I don't know what's going to happen. That's good.
A few scuffles. Weren't you a part of breaking up somebody? Didn't somebody get socked in the face or somebody?
There was a night that I was hosting. It was the last time I hosted Lucky Duck. It was fucking late at night, and all the Vulcan guys came over after their shift. It was that late. Like we were about to stop doing the open mic because there was nobody left, and then the Vulcan guys showed up. And like, no, it was like Michael Ridley and Mumford and someone else went before Ridley. And this dude in the front row is hammered drunk, and he's like, my brother has autism, and he got all mad and he like rushed the stage on Mumford, and Michael Ridley like threw off the 757 really came out Michael Ridley that day. He's from Virginia Beach area. In Virginia, it's pretty ghetto down there. And Michael went in a full fucking, he was ready, dude. He was ready for action. He like threw his backpack off like a superhero and then like sprinted across like the top of, and he's Asian, so this made sense that he looked like a ninja, but he looked like a ninja running across the top of the tables. Yeah. And it was not just because of his culture, but because of the way he was doing it. It's just like something woke up in him, like all his ancestors just came into him at that moment.
That's a true feeling.
And then he did like a spinning wheel kick. No, we all just a bunch of us just like grabbed onto this guy and tackled him and kicked him out. People showed up to do the open mic, so I had to comics showed up and there was audience there, so I had to continue hosting the open mic that a fucking big fight had just broken out at. While Alden and everybody, waited for the cops to come because the Lucky Duck had called. They didn't press any charges, but this guy was just like, there was nothing that could be done with it. We kicked him out one time, and he literally was like ripping fucking posts off the fence. He was like ripping the fence off, trying to get like a goddamn gorilla. It was a big dude, man.
That's scary.
It took a bunch of them. And
that's a wrong time to get rowdy too with the Vulcan guys showing up and you hosting. Like it was
crazy.
Your ass gonna get bounced, dude. Anyway, so that was the scuffle I was talking about that, and I didn't know that you were that closely tied with the scuffle that I was thinking about.
And then I was just hosting and riffing and doing comedy the whole time while the fucking cops were out there, like killing time, waiting for the next comics and shit. It was great.
Love the mayhem.
Oh man, that was fun. That was a fun night.
Well, and so many have come and gone, and I don't know necessarily why this one's persisted, but I do think it's because I wanted to continue and I want to put my effort in. Sometimes people are putting on a mic so they can get to the next thing, whatever that is. But to me, this is the thing. We're building the stuff. You got to spend a certain amount of time working on your things. Everybody just wants to get to the show, but then once you're there, you feel a pressure not to take risks in some sense. Here, there's no consequences. You can do anything you want. Nobody gives. So that's important too.
Yeah, you need those.
So I do some writing for some other comedians, and they'll tell me I haven't written a new joke in 9 months. Because every time I go to a place, I have to put out my A stuff. I feel guilty. They're paying me, so I got to really do it. So where am I going to have the time to create? They got to go to do something like this or a smaller show. So I just think, well, this is a place to do your work.
Which one of your pet peeves for the mic? What bothers you about just dealing with hosting the mic?
Well, running the list is never enjoyable. I mean, people always have different people have different ideas about how it should be run, and I don't really follow those. And
Yeah, we have a very interesting method to the madness. And what's the method? There is no method.
there's no method. Yeah, I'll tell everybody to the camera there. The list is an illusion. Oh, you gotta know that. Yeah.
Alden has the patience in the belly of the Buddha. Like the way he puts up with that fucking list, dude. He has such patience he's always so kind to anybody who comes up. He speaks to everybody the same way, you know what I mean? He's very sweet to everyone, but I've ran that mic twice. It is so obnoxious, the amount of people that come up. He's always very, like, welcoming, like, oh, hey, sure, sign up. Plug right in the fucking whatever spot that you want.
Yep.
Well, my thought is, okay, I was reading some stuff about systems theory. So when you have a system, there is something to be exploited. And that's a natural thing for a comedian to want to exploit a system. So I thought, well, what if you had an absence of a system? Then there would theoretically be nothing to exploit. Well, it hasn't really worked out like that, but like, I kind of like that idea. So even though it's not very organized, my level of stress about it is very low. Because I'm like, you're all volunteering. This is free stage time. I don't feel bad if you don't get your spot or whatever. Like, I want you to get your spot, but if you're going to give me a bunch of guff about it, I'm like, well, okay, like, I don't care. Like, and not to be rude or anything, but I just don't have enough, like, compassion to be like, oh, I understand, you're very important, and I'm not important. And also, all the other people are not important to you. You know, I don't want to make those kinds of judgments. I would just like it if people would come, you know, hang out for like a half hour, get their spot, and then they're going on to the next mic. That would be ideal.
And that's kind of how you do it. I mean,
I try, but it doesn't always work out like that.
yeah. And I get where some comics get upset because they're on the list and there's a big crowd and they keep getting bumped and they're not getting to perform for those people. And then those people end up leaving and they miss their chance to perform for one. But it's like, hey, try again next week or at any other mic in town. You can't get mad at this mic for people bumping it because...
Well, you can, but it's just I'm not interested in that, you know. I don't owe anybody anything, and nobody owes me anything. So, like, the time is available. It's going to be in a very disorganized way that gets distributed. Okay, that's what we're doing. And some people literally can't handle that, and they'll never come back. And I'm just like, okay, that's okay. And then, you know, go to the other mic and complain, and then it's going to be the same thing. But I also, when I see somebody who's waiting, I don't know what it is about that, but I like that. I see, not that I'm trying to hold people back, or whatever, but there are some people who will come and they'll sign up and they'll just sit in the back and they wait for their spot. And I'm like, this guy doesn't care about any of this. It's an insane person in a good way, you know. Like, I'll say that about Tony Pepperoni. He would always come in, put his name on there. He would just hang out in the back. He'd get called up at some point, and like, he wasn't bothered by all that. He didn't have a feeling of like importance or whatever. He's like, I'm just here to do my work and I'm going to do it. And when I see that, I'm like, okay, I want to work with that guy. He's in it for the long haul.
I noticed Freddie Barton did that too all the time.
When I see people just kind of being like, nothing's going to stop me. I'm just going to do it when I do it. That, to me, there's something about that I'm attracted to, and I'll say, oh, that's a person. I'll see somebody come in, they push their way in, they think they're cool, and then you don't see them again. So it's like, how do you know where to put your effort into somebody when you don't know if they're going to stick with it? So when I see somebody who has that mentality, that I'm just, you know, this isn't bothering me.
That was funny.
I don't know. There's something about that. Maybe that's weird. Maybe I have a mental defect there, but like, I see that quality, and so when I go, oh, this is a person who's going to stick it out. So even though I don't know if they're going to be good, but at least they have that different attitude.
Yeah. Interesting. So that's your pet peeve, is people trying to get mad and jumping up on the list.
Well, they said they have a feeling of importance that's like not in line with who they are. So like, I'm not an important person. Somebody comes up to me and they want to tell me they're whoever. I'm like, yeah, okay, you are. That's great. I don't care. And some of it's true and some of it's not, you know. But it's not my place to sort all that out. I don't want to make that like, you're a level 5 comic and you're a level 3, so you got to weigh more. I don't want to do any of that stuff. I just want the time to be available.
You do a great job at that, Alden, so thank you for that.
I try, but I think that people don't like it either. Some people just, I view myself as providing a utility to the scene where there's all this time available. Many people view me as an obstacle to their dreams because I'm making them wait, you know?
When I first came here, I'm like, man, everyone's bumping this list. I hate that. But then after a while, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I get it. You just got to get your time up there, man.
Ask you this, why are some people bumping and some are not?
Y'all never got so high.
I don't know, because some might feel like they deserve it more.
Sure.
And that they're funnier and more funny.
But I've actually never told anybody that they're okay to bump or not bump.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you just say put your name on the list.
They're self-selected. So I'm not in the thing where I'm saying, okay, you're a guy who gets to bump and you're not. I'm just saying, here's the list. What do you think? And they self-identify.
Exactly what you do. Yeah.
They go, okay, I'm right. I'm next. And I go, okay, yeah, you're next. Let's see, how they're gonna handle it, And other people are like, oh yeah, whatever's going on, So there's a certain tact about that where I watch and I go, okay, this is how they view themselves,
What's some advice you would give a comic, a person getting into comedy, like they're just starting out? What's some advice you would give them starting out? What to look forward to and what to not get caught up on?
Man, that's tough because it's really an individual journey for everybody, But I don't know. I guess understand what you're trying to get out of it, and then understand what it takes to get what you want. So, you have to set a goal for yourself, because in a creative endeavor, there are no benchmarks that are non-self, imposed or whatever. So, before I started doing it at all, I was reading biographies of comedians, and they all said the same thing. You're going to be a 10-year overnight success if you make it at all. And then during that period, you're going to do it in complete obscurity. How does that sound? Well, a lot of people going into the thing don't even take in that, or they're not aware of that as an idea, you might do this your whole time and not work out for you. And that's probably more likely than the other. How does that sound? And I said to myself, that sounds pretty good. So, that's weird, but so, well, I don't know, I guess. Just think about what your goals are before you get going on it, because it's easy to get going on it and not think about where you're going. So when I started, my goal was, can I do entertainment for my living? That was my goal. And so I have crossed that threshold between doing the comedy and doing trivia. I am a professional entertainer. So that was great. So I reached that, I achieved that goal, So now I got to think, okay, what's the next thing? Well, I don't even know. But I set that goal and I hit it. So I feel like a lot of the guys, I want to do comedy and I want to do, and then there's not that, they haven't answered that. What do you want to do? Is stand-up what you want to do? Are you trying to make money? Are you trying to be famous? Are you trying to have a following? Are you trying to get laid? What is it? What is it? You have to know for yourself, what is the goal? And I think a lot of the frustration comes because they're not really fleshing that out for themselves. So then they're thinking, well, how do I know what I want to be doing? Well, I'll look and see what other people are doing, and I'll feel less than because I'm not doing it. That's a bad way to go. Instead of comparing yourself to others, be like, what is my goal in this whole thing? And is that achievable? And if not, I need to adjust my expectations, or I need to work harder. I feel really blessed to be able to do all that and have that be my job. So I am literally free to pursue this. I don't have other responsibilities. I'm not giving up as much as other people. If you have kids, then it's well, your kids need your attention too. There's only so much time you can put towards this comedy if you're, want to be a reasonable person. So I have less than I'm giving up in a sense. I didn't give up anything to come down here. I quit my job at the feed store. I drove down here. I wasn't giving up as much in my mind. So the cost of comedy for me is lower.
Yeah, you just had everything to gain.
But for me, it's all upside again, because I don't have to have a job now. That's a really big check in the box going.
You're a full-time entertainer. And an author of sorts. Don't you have a book?
Yeah, the Big Fat Cock Joke Book's going pretty good.
The Big Fat Cock Joke Book. You guys look for it. It's a great Christmas gift.
Yeah, not available in stores.
How are you selling? How can they get it? How can they find it?
I'll go wherever I am. I've got them on me somewhere, so I'll get you lunch. But if I sell them here, it's a Lucky Duck, or if I'm doing a show, sometimes I'll close with it.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Monday.
The end of this sounds like it was directed by David Lynch, and we're in the fucking Black Lodge at Twin Peaks. And everybody's speaking reverberated backwards tones and shit.
And then where can they find you on social media?
Oh, yeah. So it's the Mob Job on Instagram. Look at the light. That's pretty much it. Yeah, or just come to Lucky Duck sometime. Check out both of Mike. That's usually where I'm at. Wednesdays, 8 to whatever. Just call them down.
And then trivia.
Oh, yeah. Mondays, Barton Springs Saloon. Tuesdays, here's a Lucky Duck. So, yeah.
And then tag writing Mike at Creek in the Cave.
Yeah, Creek in the Cave, back like Sundays at 4:20 to 5:30. Also, I'm doing a new show at the Vulcan, the Toxic Masculinity show. So that'll be a midnight show. I don't have the dates yet. That's gonna be fun.
Excellent. I didn't know about that.
New thing, got to keep innovating.
Well, right on, man. Well, Alden, thank you for everything you do. Keep on going, man. Everyone loves you down here. Well, most of us do.
If I can get a good percentage, that'll be good.
Yeah. But I hope to see you here in 4 more years, man. Like, it's
I
awesome.
hope this mic goes forever, so that'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, thank you, everybody. That was another episode of The Open Hosts. I'm Chris Mueller, Alden Schaub. We're at the Lucky Duck. See you next time. Thank you, everybody. Cool. Thank you, buddy.
Good.
Oh, this legendary belly, dude. That is one of the best beer guts I've ever seen.
That was fun, Chris.
Thank you, man.
It's important.
So I'm here with Scott, but we also have Daniel Shepard behind the camera doing audio and all the camera work for us. And you can find him at Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan _Shep on Instagram and Painkiller Productions on YouTube.
Painkiller Productions.
And he produces helps produce the High Tonight Show with Victor Martinez.
Martinez.
We got, like we were just saying before this, man, we are in a very beautiful time in the world, also at a very ugly time. And I think what everyone's doing down here in Austin is the answer to fight all the fucking bullshit that people are still doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People should not be dying from other people's hands. We should be dying of natural causes and drug overdoses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like a good American. Yeah.
So, what's happening here in Austin?
Dying of laughter.
Fuck yeah. That's the best way to die, dude. But what we're doing here in Austin, it's remarkable, and there's so many talented artists down here, and we're all just trying to fucking make the world better.
Yeah.
And we're gonna fucking win World War III right here.
Yeah, with love, not bombs.
Yeah. Jaeger bombs. Anyway. Scott, thank you, man. You're the best.
Chris, thank you.
This is not Scott, you guys, on Instagram. I'm Chris Mueller. That is the final thing about this episode 3. Thank you. All right. Cool. Thank you, Daniel.